So I just picked up my 2000 Honda Civic Si yesterday, and today we are going to get this car running and back on the road. This thing is brand new to the channel, so if you're confused as to why I have a black Civic Si sitting here, this is turning into my full-on race car. My goal with the project, with the build, is to turn it into a mid 8-second car. Now, of course, we have a ton and a ton and a ton of work to get done, money to be spent, fabrication to do to be able to run mid 8 seconds in the Civic. And there's no way we could do that relatively soon with all of the other projects that we have going on. This car is of course the main build as of right now. And as you know, Bobby's Evo 10 also is getting a new motor. Evo 8, Evo 9 friends and owners, listen up. Tomorrow is the last and final day to get entered in on this 500 wheel horsepower package, full turbo kit with a fuel system and a tune, or $3,000 in cash. Tomorrow is the final day. Don't miss out on this deal. One of you boys will take this thing home for $3. I've decided that for the rest of this year, there's 2 racing events left. 2 that I want to make it to that are relatively close. This car is going to be front wheel drive, and we're going to be slapping in a high compression, a 13-to-1 engine on nitrous with the Motec setup. And my goal for this year is to hopefully run a high 10-second quarter mile. Now, I feel like that would be pretty easily achievable if we did go ahead and gut the entire interior out of the car to save a bunch of weight. I don't want to go that deep right now. I just want to be able to get the motor, the transmission, the whole power plant back in the car, throw on a set of slicks, go out and have fun. That is my main goal with this car right now. Just go out and have fun. So with that being said, let's get to work. We got an engine, a transmission, the whole power plant to get back in the car. As of right now, there's nothing installed. Over here, we have 2 different setups. So this is the turbo motor. We'll be running this long-term later on. It did drop a valve, so we do have to go through this entire engine, get it refreshed. But over here, this is a high compression build. It's a Ramy sleeved 8899. It's a 13-to-1 engine with a 4-piston head. This guy is perfect for running a bit of nitrous. We could boost this motor with a few pounds of boost. I'm not going to go down that path with this setup. I'll save the turbo stuff for that engine. But why I'm explaining all of this is because we need to go ahead and disassemble this setup real quick. I got to pull off the transmission. This has a comp triple disc installed on the engine, which only has 500 miles on it. We do have an Action single disc down there, but I am a little bit worried that thing is going to start slipping once we toss some nitrous on the setup. We may as well go ahead and use the triple disc. So let's get that transmission ripped off, get that clutch off, get it installed on this setup. I won't be using this transmission either. This is a fully built PPG 6-speed all-wheel drive transmission. We could toss on a block off plate, but the mounts are a little bit different than what we are going to be running in the car. So I'm going to just install a factory front wheel drive transmission out of an 06 Civic Si, which also happens to have a factory LSD already in it, which will be perfect for what we're doing. After removing the starter and all of the bell housing bolts, the transmission was now disconnected from the engine, and we can go ahead and remove the comp triple disc clutch. This thing is absolutely tiny, and it's crazy to think this clutch right here holds 1500 horsepower. Not only do we need the clutch, but we also need the flywheel. Here we have everything laid out for the build. This is that high comp motor I was talking about, a 06 SI transmission, and the comp triple disc. Along with this triple disc, I'll be running the 4-piston, the diamond claw lock is what they call it, with the 4-piston flywheel bolts. And on the other side, I'll be running the ATI damper. If you guys remember back when my all-wheel drive swapped Type R let go on the dyno, it's because the flywheel bolts backed out. Those vibrations broke the timing gear on the crank, and then we bent all the valves. So I'm going to avoid that this time with these utensils. Went ahead and got the crank cleaned up where the flywheel mates to it. In between the flywheel and the crankshaft sits the diamond claw lock from 4-piston. And now we install the 4-piston flywheel bolts made by ARP. If I remember correctly, these guys go to 135 foot-pounds. The last thing you want is a flywheel bolt backing out. I'm a big fan of doing paint lines on clutch and flywheel hardware just to make sure stuff doesn't start coming loose. Now the clutch goes on, torqued to 24 foot-pounds, and we are ready. Clutch is on, everything is torqued down. Let's go ahead and slap on the transmission, and this thing is ready to go in there. So many times it's a pain to get the transmission onto the engine with that input shaft going through the splines of 3 clutch discs. This one thankfully slipped right in. The power plant is complete and we're ready to install. I am utilizing the Myers lean mounts. They are a solid mount, no rubbers whatsoever. Of course, this car is not going to be the most comfortable street car on the planet with these mounts, but I don't care. I just want to go fast. The power plant is back in. You might be thinking it looks a little bit funny. It's because we are using the Myers lean mount kit. Puts all the weight in front of the front wheels so she hooks better so we can achieve that 10-second pass. Engine and transmission are in. All we're gonna need from here is the fuel system, connect the wiring harness, intake, exhaust, and this thing is ready to fire up. I'm using the Skunk 2 Ultra intake manifold with a K-tuned billet rail. Very nice looking combo. The car will be on a Motec M130, so this here is a Rye-wire mil-spec plug-and-play harness for the Motec. And now we slap on the exhaust. This Jimmy goes right out the fender. This is the Myers lean exhaust as well. This thing is going to sound nuts. We're almost ready for the first start. I did have to pull the intake manifold back off as I'm trying to figure out the fuel lines and the rest of the fuel system. So I'm needing some AN lines. I need my injectors, engine oil, coolant, gear oil, and we can fire up the Honda. I hate to be that guy ordering off of Amazon for this kind of stuff, but it's the next morning and this package just showed up. I am running the K-Tune fuel pressure regulator, have it mounted over here on the driver's side strut tower, -8 feed, a -6 return. And now we're ready for our injectors. Picked up a set of Injector Dynamics 1050Xs. They are pretty small, but we're not running any boost, just a shot of nitrous. The fuel system is now complete, turned out pretty clean. We got the regulator over there on the strut tower, and now we're ready for some fluids. So this car has the Skunk 2 lean oil pan as well, which is a 9-quart oil pan. 9 quarts later of my go-to oil, VR1 2050. I was ready for the gearbox. I'm running the Synchrotech gearbox oil. Now let's fire this thing up. Everything is there for this thing to run, but she won't fire. If anyone can fix it, it's Joshua.
Here I am, back an old girl. It's like the ECU is losing power upon cranking, actually, because it's not seeing engine RPM when I crank it, and the ECU just shut off when I crank. No RPM. And then you see when I see it, and then if I sit here, then it reconnects. The ECU is losing power upon cranking. That is what the problem is. But why? Let's go take a look at this Jimmy.
I was missing a ground. Now she'll fire up.
Let's see. Sounds a little dead.
She needs a jump pack.
As soon as you crank it, though, you get all the sensor faults in the ECU.
So this is what happens when you buy a car from Drush.
Thanks, pal. This is what happens when you let Devin put it together. Oh,
You're
it
right.
threw an engine position error code, essentially missed tooth, but it shouldn't. And then you look here and it says cycle walk and there's no missed tooth.
Tooth or tooth?
Tooth. You can't say tooth. 182 RPMs. Everything says okay.
We found the problem, a blown fuse for the coil. There we go. That thing ripped! What kind of tune is this, Josh?
All your fuel components change. Fuel pressure regulator. We're taking a guess on fuel pressure right now. See what happens. I'll give it more fuel.
This thing sounds like a ripper. I like the rattle of the exhaust. We had two simple problems as to why the car wouldn't fire. Number one, I had a missing engine ground. Grounds are very important. Number two, the fuse for the ignition coils popped. Of course, without power going to the coils, she ain't gonna fire up. After some light tuning, we got this thing to fire up and idle just fine. Now it's time for the first drive. You ready for some real power?
We've been here before.
Dude. So we got a problem. We got first gear down there, third gear. Well, we have a we got first and third on the opposite side of where they should be.
Sick. We're gonna party.
Sick. All right, buddy, you ready?
All right, I'm ready. Window back up. I forgot.
This is gonna be pretty interesting trying to bang gears like. Oh yeah, bro. Honda transmissions are a bit interesting. If you don't have the right selector with your transmission and shift box, your gears are going to be reversed. So as of right now, I don't have a second or fourth gear. I have first and third, but they are where second and fourth should be. I wish I had a second gear, dude. Any second gear at all, so that should be pretty good.
We need to put an intake temp sensor on it just so we can get the idle control working, because that's going to be annoying. It normally won't do that. It'll go into closed loop and it'll control it. We got a second gear, but dude, I'm pretty deaf already.
I need some gears. You can tell she's going to eat.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it needs more fuel. It was 16 AFR when you're at 7, so it needs more.
Yeah, that's pretty lean.
Yeah. The problem is the moment it hits VTEC, it's going really lean because it doesn't have the same fueling it did before. It doesn't have enough pressure. Yeah. It's not like it has boost to add PSI. It's just relying on whatever that can do. But she runs. And then we can clean the idle up too.
Why would you say that?
She does.
She
runs sometimes.
She runs well, dude. So there was two things I forgot to grab when I picked this car up from Josh. The clamp for that exhaust and the intake air temp sensor. As of right now, there's no intake air temp sensor. That's why the car keeps dying. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm stoked with the progress we made on the EM1 today. Of course, we still have a ways to go before we hit the first track event, which is in less than a week. So I desperately need to get this thing tuned, running right, get a pair of slicks, get my nitrous bottle filled, and then we can hit the track and see what old girl is gonna do. My goal for this setup on a 200 shot is a high 10-second pass. Even though the car is still full weight, I do think it's possible. It'll be tough, but we'll see what she can do.